In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a brief rundown of my new short story, New Patrium Part 1. Enjoy it. What's up guys, thanks so much for stopping by on GM Nova Creations. The name's Gabriel Muteba, and if you're unaware of what this channel is all about, it's all about storytelling. So I focus on the short stories that I write, which you can read on my website www.gmnova.co.za, but I also focus on other things such as movies, series, anime, and even WWE. In fact, the storytelling aspect of these things, and I try and make the videos that I release as entertaining as possible. Now, into the meat of this subject, or of the now I'm going to dive straight into the content of this video, and it's about a brand new short story that I've released on the website called New Patrium. This is part one of a three-part series that I've written. It is a war drama, it's a war story, and basically what it is there's two protagonists, there's two brothers, the brothers cross, so Jason and Connor cross, but it's told in the perspective of the younger brother Connor. And the story starts out with the two boys. They're quite young, so Jason is 17 and Connor is 12 years old. And it's the start of World War III. Basically, I dive straight in with the two boys where they're busy having a good day. They're not suspecting any of this to happen at all. Then out of nowhere, they're thrown right into the middle of the start of World War III. And the story basically just brings them on a ride, on a journey of what to expect in war, how war is like, and because they obviously haven't experienced any of this before in their lives. How is it that they're going to survive? And it's basically a story of them surviving through the first stages of the war, the initial stages, the beginning of World War III, and how it is that they deal with some of the things that happen, some of the events that happen throughout the start of this war. And I also made the character Jason Cross. He's a genius. In fact, both of the kids are geniuses, but being 12 years old, Connor hasn't really unlocked his genius, so he's counting now on his older brother to get him out of whatever situations that they may get themselves into, and trying to help each other survive throughout this really difficult thing that they're going to suffer from, or they're busy suffering from at the very moment. And it's called New Patrium Part 1 because there's actually three parts to it. So I'll be releasing New Patrium Part 1, or I have released New Patrium Part 1. Then I'll release a short story in between. Then I'll release New Patrium Part 2. Then I'll release another short story. And then the third part will come out. So every second week is when I'm going to be releasing this. Now, the story behind New Patrium, when I started writing this, before I had the motivation for this, I'd be watching a lot of movies, series, and I really like war movies and whatnot. So I thought, let me try and make something that's, from my eyes, like what would be the reason a war should happen, etc. And it's something that I really dive into from this part all the way into the later parts of the story. And there's a lot of very conflicting views and morals and ethics that people think about, and it's a very challenging story, and it was a challenging story for me to write as well. And I tried to just put all the pieces together and try to make sense of everything that I had in my head. Only after I'd written the story, I realized it's a huge idea, which is why it's in three parts. It's a massive idea in terms of world building, characters, and just everything that can and does happen in the story. And it actually would have been better if I'd written it as a novel, but at the time when I was busy writing it, I was still, in fact even now, I was still in the process of learning to write and learning what works and what doesn't in terms of storytelling. And in future, who knows, perhaps I might dive into it, because I leave some things open and I leave some things closed, in the sense that if I wanted to, I could expand on the story. So it is something that perhaps might be a novel one day, if I do have the time to be able to turn this into something bigger. I am working on other novels, so it will be difficult, but the story is huge. It's a huge story, and at first I wanted to write it in one short story part, and then I thought, you know what, I can't do that. I separated it into a second part, and the second part still didn't finish the story the way I wanted it to, which is why I turned it into a three-part story. And it's really something that I hope that you enjoy. It's something that's I think you might look forward to, especially if you're into intelligence, if you're into plan, tactics, that sort of stuff. I try and just incorporate absolutely everything that I possibly can in the story, not just this part, but all the parts that's to follow on the story. And that's basically it for new Patrium. You can read it by clicking in the link in the description. What I do as well is I left some links to, if you want to get into storytelling or if you want to learn how to write, etc. I left some links to about 4 or 5 books that you can also click in the description, Amazon books that you can order. And it's just some things that will help you in the writing process if you don't know where to start or if you don't know how to get into it. Reading from somebody else who's experienced in it might give you a good idea of how to go about it or how to start. And I'm not that experienced myself, but in future videos I will be also going through a writing process that I go through before I write any and all my short stories, the way that I do and the way that I like to do that. And yeah, that's about it that I have for this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave a like if you like the content of this video and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you hit that bell notification icon. Very important, so that you're notified immediately every time I upload a video on this channel, GM Nova Creations. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll be talking to you soon. Take care.